We get a lot of thank you cards at work. Thank you so much to all the doctors and nurses for saving my life. And I can't help but think of how often I, the ER pharmacist, am right there at bedside managing the different drug infusions that are actually keeping our patients alive. When people ask me what I do and I tell them I'm an ER pharmacist, they often think that I either have a booth inside the ER and I'm handing out drugs, or maybe there's a window that's stuck to the ER and I get to supersize their prescriptions as they drive through. ER pharmacists are integral members of the healthcare team. We are the in-house drug experts. We're the bedside drug gurus. And that's exactly why providers and nurses are often turning to us because of our area of expertise. We're strategically positioned in the ER because this is how we ensure the highest degree of accuracy, efficiency, and safety. Because if a drug is powerful enough to save your life, it can also end it just as easily if we are not careful. Now, just to give you a glimpse into my world, let's just say that you go to visit your 30-year-old cousin, only to find him on the ground unresponsive. The medics arrive, immediately start CPR, place a breathing tube, and rush him through traffic. We get a heads-up phone call, incoming 30-year-old male, ongoing CPR, and that's really all we need to know to start getting ready. So what that looks like for me is I have to make sure that we have a code cart. That's this tall red crash cart. It's actually bigger than me. I'm only 5'3" without the heels. But I have to make sure that we have one of those inside the room because it has a lot of the stuff we need. Drugs to either jumpstart the heart, to control arrhythmias, and also to correct abnormal lab values. And then if we are lucky enough to get the patient back, which we often do, I then switch over into mixologist mode. This is when I start to mix various drug infusions that I know the patient will need so that they can continue to perfuse their vital organs. Now, I have to say, even though I am super proud of my Mad Ninja skills when it comes to mixing drugs, I have absolutely no idea how to mix an alcoholic beverage if my life depended on it. And then when I'm done mixing the various drug infusions that I know the patient will need, I start to program into the Alaris pump, so that's what you see here on the left-hand side, drug-specific parameters for each medication to make sure it's infusing into the patient safely. How did I get to have such a glamorous job? Well, I spent a lot of years in school. I have a doctorate-level degree called a PharmD. Thank you. And I've also completed a residency program inside the hospital where I rotated throughout the hospitals. So the ER is a very error-prone workspace. It's a fast-paced, dynamic, emotionally charged, time-sensitive work environment. We have high patient volumes, sick patients, and we use a lot of high-risk drugs where the margin for error is tight. Hospital pharmacists, we're not just there to give you the drugs that you need when you need them. We're actually a massive safety net for our patients because we are the ones that are constantly catching and intercepting medication errors. We're monitoring drug levels and lab values and making adjustments accordingly. And we're in constant back and forth conversations with providers to make sure we make the best decisions for our patients. But then there are many days when we are feeling super stressed out, frustrated and overwhelmed, and some of us might even burst out into tears, but none of us have an ugly cry quite like Miss Kim Kardashian here. And on those days, I always remind myself that I am so damn lucky to work with some of the most incredible people in both the pharmacy department as well as the ER, and we get to be a part of something that's so much bigger than us and our giant egos. But what I cherish the most about what I do are really those opportunities to form these raw human connections with patients and their family members at a time when I know they're experiencing the depths of human emotion, love, courage, heartache, and loss. Because I remember what it was like to be on the other side of the healthcare system when my mom was diagnosed with terminal cancer a few years ago. And it really is true what Dr. Maya Angelou says. At the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or did. They will remember how you made them feel. Now, I've had a front row seat to the fragility of life for quite some time, but a few years ago it became personal. And once that happened, everything shifted. And I've learned how important it is for all of us to slow down a little bit more and just take the time to shift perspective. Thank you.